Hello everybody and welcome back to the chassis variant series, still sticking with the Stalkers and it's still with me, Critical Rocket. So we're up to the 5 series now. This is the 5M. The 5M is a much better option hardpoint wise for you, the good player. It has 5 energy and 5 missile hardpoints, generously spread across the mech, both in the left and right torsos and arms, the same going for the energy. It's a mech that comes with a NARC launcher as standard, and the 5M actually has quite a chunk of history. It was a Marik design, hence the M designation. It was introduced in 3050, just prior to the clan invasion, and obviously takes advantage of a lot of that juicy Starleague era technology that was included. So it has a single ER large rather than 2 standard large lasers. This is to make room for the NARC missile system, which I mentioned earlier. Upgrades to double heat sinks, introduces a few other bits and pieces, if I remember correctly. Extra armor was added, and it has a few things that don't really factor into MWO, things like special types of communications gear and certain chassis systems that it was built with. These are all things that don't play into MechWarrior Online, don't really play into Battletech, it's mostly fluff. Basically Marik did some very minor upgrades to the Stalker. It still has a standard engine, so it's not an XL equipped, it just has the EL large and the NARC beacon, which means it's more capable of being able to support a team by tagging targets and then moving on. Obviously, you don't really see many assaults in MechWarrior Online carrying an ARC beacons. It's generally the domain of light, fast-moving mechs with ECM that can get behind a target, or stealth armor these days, and being able to hit them with NARC beacons and GTFO before they get found. It can be viable on bigger mechs, especially ones that just get close, knowing that they have supports with LRMs behind them or nearby that can direct that fire onto a target that they've hit. And being it's a Stalker, it's not going to go down very quickly, so it does have that benefit. It doesn't have case. They make a point that in Battletech's world, not having case was almost a death sentence for pilots. It was a big risk not having any kind of ammo explosion protection, and it makes mention of the fact that many of these were actually destroyed by ammunition cooking off on the front lines against the clans. As a result, it was popular to a degree, but it certainly needed room to improve, which they did later with, I think the 6M was an improvement over the 5M, but this is more of a kind of quick refit of existing Stalkers to use some of the new equipment that was available at the time. And let's face it, House Marik were just going to send off some of their models to the front line against the clans anyway, because hell, they weren't going to get invaded, so they didn't have to worry too much. I do like this version. As I said, it's got 5 and 5 on the energy and missile hardpoint selection. It's a slightly more expensive chassis to pick up, but it does have a lot of nice little benefits to it. It actually has a center torso mounted energy hardpoint, which is quite unique for the Stalkers. It's as I said, it's quite spread, so you don't have to worry too much about losing one side of your mech or arm and like losing a shit ton of your weapons. You're still pretty covered in that respect. Heat is still an issue, but that's always the case with Stalkers. I don't think that's ever not going to be an issue with the Stalker series. But yeah, in today's world with streaks and MRMs and rocket launchers, I mean, you can build this with like 5 rocket launchers and some decent, some ER mediums or whatever, and just have like this brutal fucking one-pump chump missile thing that's just got some energy backup, or you can have some kind of light hunter that's got a shitload of streaks, like streak 4s or streak 6s, that just walks up to a medium or light and just dumps into them. And in the energy hardpoint selection, you've got a whole raft of options there, and yeah, it's a pretty good mech. Again, just to preface, I am not the person that I would not be the ambassador or the spokesperson for the Stalker. Not because I say they're bad in any way, mostly because they are a liability in my hands. They're not very good for me. I consistently fail in the Stalker. It's just something that I have never really been able to overcome. It's been a regular problem for me. And I don't know, maybe if I just decide to get more time in with this mech, maybe I can start to improve my game. I'll be honest, assault mechs have never been one of the one of the sort of weight classes I've ever been particularly good in. But there are plenty of assaults I do like. It's just a MechWarrior. Me and assaults just sadly have a pretty rough time of it. Would I recommend it though? In closing, yes, I would. It's a good mech. It's a good variant. Lots of good hardpoints. Nice and spread. Comes with double heat sinks as part of the price anyway, so you don't have to worry too much about that. Sorry about any noises there earlier. I've still got a cold. Still trying to get over it. So thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you all have a good week, and I will see you next time. Bye. 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 Bye.